I quit my dream job in finance. Here's why. Hey everyone, I am back, and as a reminder, I'm Andrew. I'm a chartered financial analyst and certified financial planner who spent over a decade helping high net worth and ultra high net worth people do two things. One, pay the government as little as possible in taxes as they're transferring wealth to the next generation, and I would manage the money for that, manage the money for $1 billion firm. And then number two, I would do the actual planning and I would manage relationships. And so I reached the place where if you asked a chartered financial analyst who wanted to work with individuals, not institutions, there are a lot of CFAs who work on like pensions and endowments, hedge funds, that kind of thing. But for the ones that want to work with individuals, if you said, hey, who do you want to work with? They would say, oh, ultra high net worth individuals who have complicated situations, complicated tax structures. And I would want to manage the money at a firm. Well, here I was managing the money at $1 billion wealth management firm. And if you were to ask a CFP, you know, most people, when you ask them, oh, who do you want to talk to and manage relationships for the most, they'd say, oh, the people with the most money. And I was fortunate to get those reps from day one. I was meeting with high net worth and ultra high net worth people just because of the firm I was affiliated with from the first day, and worked with some great people over the years. Have nothing but love for them. But I left. It was my dream job, and the question is, well, why, Andrew? Did you get fired? And the answer is no, I didn't get fired. In fact, helped them transition over a period of time. But the reason why is I've become more and more convinced, and it's part of the reason I started doing these YouTube videos, these educational videos, is the model for giving financial advice is just broken. And I don't really know how else to say it. I'm wagging my finger at the financial industry as a whole, because what they have done is created systems and processes to take money out of the client's pocket and put it in their own. There are a few reasons why I left that position. There are about 300,000 financial advisors in the US, give or take. The problem is you could have one person say, well, there's actually only about 30,000, and you could have another person say it's upwards of 1 million. And your question would be, well, why such a wide variety of answers, Andrew? And the answer to that is almost anyone can call themselves a financial advisor. I've been taking tests ever since I got my undergrad. I mean, I stopped taking tests in 2022, but I was taking tests for almost 10 years after I went to college, okay, to get those advanced accreditations and degrees. Somebody who has a high school diploma, and this is no, I don't have an issue with people who have a high school diploma, but somebody with no formal technical training in financial advice can get an insurance license to sell commissionable products and call themselves a financial advisor. How is that okay? So if you include all of those people, right, that small annuity company ABC, you could get a lot bigger number. But even of those 300,000 that we would say are financial advisors, 90% of them are fee-based, which is just a fancy way that the industry came up with saying, I am a fiduciary some of the time. I am suitable for you the other parts of the time. Which is odd, because it's easy to be a fiduciary when it's in your best interest as an advisor. The reason the fiduciary structure exists is for those times when it's not to the advisor's benefit, but it's for the client's benefit. However, 90% of financial advisors have significant conflicts of interest. If I am selling an annuity for $100,000, or I'm telling somebody to put $100,000 into a bond ladder, both of which accomplish a similar goal. And annuities aren't all bad. That's not my point in this, but stay with me. The advisor would get a $5,000 pop here, most likely 5 to 7, maybe 10,000 one time, versus here they're going to get 1,000. It's a factor of 5 times more compensation over here. Flip to a life insurance policy. Certain life insurance policies, if you put $100,000 a year premium in, you might get a $50,000 check versus 1,000 over here. It's a 50 times factor difference in compensation. And so the way I think about it is, if I'm wanting to be on a diet and I have a candy problem, the best way for me to not get overweight is to not have candy in the house. The best way to truly know your advisor's acting in your interest is if they can't have the ability to sell commissionable products. And commissionable products are not bad. Life insurance is not bad. Permanent life insurance is not bad. Annuities are not bad. None of these things are inherently wrong. They have a place for certain people at certain times, but when your conflict is so great that you have a 50x difference in compensation, any reasonable person has a second thought in the back of their mind. And that's 90% of financial advisors. Of the 10%, so that's fee-based, of the 10% that are fee-only, I saw a fee-only firm, this is ridiculous, hire an insurance producer who got fired from a firm because he had too many black marks on his FINRA broker check. People were starting to bring a class action lawsuit against him. A fee-only wealth management firm hired him. But I'm like, how did this guy get hired? Well, the fee-only firm has a subsidiary LLC that sells insurance. And he's essentially working for that LLC, even though his registration's with this LLC. And so even there, you kind of throw your hands up and you're like, well, they're fee only, but they're not. They're still over here, right? And so I say all that to say, it's become so difficult to understand what you're getting in the industry. And if you say, okay, but even the ones that are fee only and don't have those, subsidiary insurance companies or whatever, the vast majority, to the tune of probably 99%, charge on assets under management. And incentives drive outcomes. That's just how humans work. And when the incentive is, if I get more assets, I make more money, you have a couple incentives that come into play there. One, you become an asset accumulator. I am trying to get as many assets for as many people as possible. Number two, you don't want people to take those assets out. Number three, you have such a focus on rates of return because that's how you're compensated. And I've come to the conclusion that this is an ignorance tax on people because the data's out and it's been undeniable for many, many years that the best alpha a financial advisor can bring from an investment perspective, I'm going to say to the vast majority of people, is tax alpha from doing things like tax loss harvesting, asset location, reducing tax drag on the investments. Tax alpha. Cost alpha, reducing cost, passing that through to the customer. And diversification, and within that, lining up the risk capacity and risk tolerance of the individual to what their plan says it should be. Those are the biggest outperformance generators. None of those three make me deserve to share in your profits. But the assets under management model exists as a profit share. And it's a proxy for the right type of compensation, but it is, I think, far from the actual right type of compensation. And it exists because that's what hedge funds did. If you look back in the 70s and 80s, hedge funds, they would charge what's called a 2 and 20, 2% management fee, 20% carry. But if I was out running a hedge fund and I bought international small cap stocks through options trading and did a long short, I'm doing something that you can't do, right? So either you get some of my outperformance, some of my alpha, or you get none of it. So I deserve a profit share. But when my primary drivers for somebody hiring me are tax efficiency, cost efficiency, understanding their retirement plan, lining up their investments the way they should, and walking through life with them, none of those really make me deserve a share in your profits. And then what I've also seen is the person with $1 million and the person with $3 million, more times than not, have similarly complex situations. Yet I'm charging the person with 3 million nearly 3 times the amount. If I'm charging 1% on $1 million, I'm making $10,000 a year. If I'm charging 1% on 3 million, I'm making $30,000 a year as the advisor. And many advisors give breakpoints, but it's for the next tranche of money. So the tranche from $1 million to 2 million will be 0.8%, not 1%. And what I found is most people have trouble converting a percentage to a hard dollar amount. My problem is I have an implicit worth per hour of my time because of my expertise. And I just don't think that I deserve to charge some people double or triple my hourly worth and other people half my hourly worth. I don't want to subsidize my clients. I mean, it's a subsidy, is what it is. I'm subsidizing overcompensation with these people to subsidize lower profit margins with those people. And I don't want to do that. So you have so many financial advisors who can be fiduciaries, but aren't all of the time. And even if they have a CFP, there's so many conflicts of interest, it's hard to know what you're getting. And then you have the ones who are part of the movement where you're only getting compensated on your advice. They're charging it in such a way that it's, for many people, egregiously expensive, and also focuses both the advisor and the client on outperformance of a portfolio where it's very difficult in certain areas to outperform the broad market. The last point I'll make is when you're getting compensated based on assets, you are induced, and this is the way all broker dealers, insurance companies, and many RIAs work, to get more clients. And I've been a person who has helped manage 100 to 120 relationships, and I think it's just too many. There are a lot of people who say financial advisors can manage 150 people, and it's kind of hard because, like, I've dealt with people with net worths of $50 million. That takes a different level of time and expertise than somebody with 500,000. But the point remains, I don't even know that I could actually know 120 people on a deep level. So how am I expected to understand all of their finances to such a depth to give them the right advice every time based on what they value in life, to challenge them on their goals, to walk through life with them? I don't think that's reasonable. And so when you accumulate all that, what I've decided to do is I've started my own firm. And it's very niche. It's kind of a joke, but kind of not. My joke is I'm the financial advisor for people who scare financial advisors. And that's because the people I've worked best with in the past are people who are inquisitive, and they're detailed, and they ask thought-provoking questions, and they understand their time is valuable, and they don't necessarily need me in their lives, but they want me in their lives, right? I'm not going to have many spots on the bus. I'm just not. I've spent a long time helping people reach their freedom goal and live life in such a way that is meaningful to them. And then I realized I wasn't doing that in my own life. Wasn't spending as much family time in my own life as I thought was right. Wasn't giving each client the due that I thought was right in their life. So, you know, I would rather spend 100% effort on half the amount of clients than the same effort that everyone else gives 150 clients. I'm fee only, and I don't have an intention to change that. And I'm charging one flat fee. A flat fee for people accumulating money, a flat fee for people pre-retirement and in retirement, and a flat fee for high net worth, ultra high net worth investors who have more complicated lives. And I'm not going to get it perfect, but I think it's better. I'm completely convinced it's better. And if people don't need or want ongoing support, if you have someone in your life who needs financial advice but can't afford it, send me a note. I'm going to try to help them out. I'd like to start doing some pro bono work every month. And then number two, from time to time, sure, I'll do some hourly work for people. I am fully convinced, I have full conviction that this is the best way for most people to have financial advice given to them. And it'll be a journey. And I'm still going to do the educational videos, so don't worry about that. Nothing's changing. It's just there's going to be some spots on the bus if people want to join. So until next time.